Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has looked like one of, if not the best on-ball creators in the NBA to start this season. He has been electric and has spearheaded OKC's offense in some surprising wins and competitive kind of battles with better teams this season. So I thought it would be fun to do another one of these choose your own adventure kind of things where we are going to break down Shai's creation and how he absolutely rips apart defenses on the ball. This is going to be like my Giddy and Trey videos. The rules are simple. I'm going to show you 10 plays, and each play there is going to be an action or decision point that we pause at. I'm then going to give you options of what Shai might do, and then you are going to guess while I pause what Shai is going to do. If you'd like, tally your score out of 10 and leave it below in the comments. I think this one might be a little tougher than my last couple. Let's start off with this play where Shai is going downhill against Reggie Bullock and gets cut off initially on this drive. So what is Shai going to do? Does he drive to the left side of the rim here? Does he drive to the right side getting back over there? Or does he stop and shoot a jumper? I'll give you 5 seconds. Let's roll it. As this spin back counter is the foundation of Shai's dribble drive and counter game. Basically, when he can't win cleanly, he's always going to this spin move, as even though Bullock cuts him off, he uses a lot of resources to do this. He pushes Shai hard away from the paint. You know, as you can kind of see, his hips are facing towards the sideline, which means Shai can spin behind that top foot and get right in front of the rim. Obviously, he doesn't score, but that's a wide open shot. And we're gonna see a lot of wide open shots in this video, because that tends to be what Shai creates for himself and others on this OKC team. So the second clip here, again, we have Shai working against Bullock, isn't able to create space initially, shot clock running down. What does Shai do? Is Shai going to step back for a jumper? Is he going to create space and get into the paint? Or is he going to find one of his shooters? Let's roll the clip. As that one maybe you should have seen coming, as Shai spins back once again. We see again this subtle overplay. Bullock is reaching at the ball. He's swiping at Shai, trying to end this possession early. And that is just something you can't do against Shai, because he will torch you. Bullock has been in great guarding position this whole time, moving his feet well, staying in front of Shai. But the second you reach on a ball handler like him, he's going to cook you. It's all Shai needs to feel Bullock leaning over, feel him out of position, spinning back, and getting to his spot for a little floater. It's beautiful, and it's just another example of how vigilant you have to be when defending a player like Shai. Let's run this third clip, where Shai is going to try and get baseline after rejecting this pick and roll, and he initially gets cut off by Luka. We're seeing a theme here. So what is Shai going to do? Is he going to continue driving towards the baseline, and is he going to make a play? Is he going to spin or get back to his other side and drive, or is he going to stop for a jumper? You got 5 seconds. This time, Shai is not going to go to that spin move. Hopefully you caught that. As that move really wasn't available. The space is right here that is obvious, and Bullock would be clogging any kind of room to run back. And despite this kind of similar situation where Shai has been cut off, you can see how low he is to the ground. Shai's torso almost parallel to the floor, and because of that, he can generate leverage on Luka, who is probably stronger than Shai, and use his shoulder to get around him. And once he does that, he is in a much better position to bounce it to Darius Bazley for an open dunk, which Shai does so often, making these kind of passes to cutters and shooters wide open because of the gravity he commands. Let's go to this next play, where we have Shai working against Bullock, and we have a stop point here where it looks like Shai is going to make some kind of move. So What is Shai going to do? Is Shai going to step back for a jumper? Is he going to keep going to the rim off of this? Or is he going to find the corner shooter? I'll give you 5 seconds. Let's roll it. This clip is just unbelievable. They call this an offensive foul, which is a crime. So if you picked go to the rim, you were half right, I guess. Give yourself a half point. Because this looks like a position where Shai could easily get to the basket. No, not this position. Silly. This one. This long step. This could be an explosive 1-2 into a little floater or Euro step or even a pass when he closes his defense off. And Bullock knows that and commits hard. So when Shai is able to exploit him, get really, really low with that lead foot, and then once he has Bullock kind of on the rails here, there's really nothing that he can do to stop Shai from getting to his spot and getting off this beautiful little scoop finish. It is really masterful stuff, and it's really hard to guard as well for basically any defender. Again, we have Shai in like an on-ball ISO situation where he's going to get downhill against Dorian Finney-Smith, and we have another pickup point at around this spot. So what is Shai going to do? Is he going to spin off or create an angle to get a layup to the rim? Is he going to step back for a jumper? Or is he going to find one of his wing shooters? I'll give you 5 seconds. Let's roll it. This time Shai elects for the pull-up to go at it himself. And a potential reason for this is, again, because of how hard Dorian Finney-Smith's momentum is carrying him. Unlike those last couple plays, where even in the first one, Reggie Bullock's hips were turned to the sideline. He's in a sliding position, which means he can change directions more easily. Dorian Finney-Smith is straight turning and chasing, which often is what you have to do to guard someone as bursty as Shai. But that means you are so susceptible to changes in direction. And because Shai knows this, he's able to easily stop on a dime, reading Dorian Finney-Smith's momentum. And Luka's contest here is just not enough. That's too much space for Shai. And because of his knowledge of how to manipulate momentum, Shai is able to create an open jumper for himself. All right, let's get to another play where we have Shai at a little pause point. He is going to get some space with this beautiful little behind the back end. You're only going to get to see the beginning of the move right now because that is for you to guess what happens. Is Shai going to shoot a little floater here? Is he going to find JRE on a cut, or is he going to skip to Trey Man in the corner? You got 5 seconds. Let's run the clip. As sometimes defenses collapse so hard on Shai that there is no option other than to pass it. There are literally five guys within the paint or painted region. It is an easy read for Shai after this little behind the back move. And while Shai is not perfect at this, he is pretty good at prioritizing the best shots. He's like no Trae Young here or anything, but Shai is great at this, as he could shoot a little pull-up here, and that would be a good shot, but he sees John Wall overcommitting. He sees Luke Kennard sinking down to take away an interior pass, and Covington playing way, way, way too far in the paint to make any real impact on either of these shooters, so he kicks it out, and Trey Man gets a wide open three. Let's go to the next clip here, where we see Shai getting downhill very easily against John Wall, and we have a lane into the paint. So is Shai going to go all the way to the rim? Is he going to pass to the right corner? Or is he going to pass to the left side? I'll give you 5 seconds. This time, Shai is going to fire another skip pass, this time on the move at high speeds, which is a different kind of skill set. Shai pressures the defense with his speed purely here and gets into the paint. Once again, all 5 pairs of eyes zoned in on Shai. And as early as, before Shai even enters the paint, he sees that Zubac is rotating hard from his corner shooter. And there is no wing defender to help get over there since Reggie Jackson was the other man defending the pick and roll, and Dort and Wiggins are spaced on the other side. It's really great spacing by OKC to enable this pass as well. But Shai is quick to identify this rotation and is able to exploit it for just a wide open three that Reggie Jackson really has no chance of getting back to and contesting. It's great stuff. We have Shai here on an island against Michael Porter Jr. I thought about making the decision point here. Like Shai could definitely pull up here, but he elects to take Michael Porter Jr. to the rim and gets right into the middle of the paint as he's been doing this entire video and has done all season. So is Shai going to pull up for a little jumper here? Is he going to find his way to the rim, or is he going to kick out to one of his shooters? You've got 5 seconds. Let's roll it. As this time we see Shai using more of the footwork to get himself a good shot. The pull-up here is possible, but again, MPJ is pretty long and large, and he's overly jumpy here. And when Shai sees you overcommitting and jumping, you've already lost. This could be a pass that Shai makes, but Will Barton is racing out to contest this corner three. And whether or not Shai is aware of that, that would mean that this pass is closing off quickly. So Shai exploits Michael Porter Jr.'s jumpiness, and at that point, it's basically over, and there's not really much you can do to stop Shai from getting an open layup or finishing at the rim. Let's get to the next play. Second to last play. How you doing so far? I hope you're doing well, and if not, let's finish strong. We see Shai driving against Nick Batum. What is he going to do here? Is he going to spin to the middle? Is he going to half spin back to the left? Or is he going to step back for a jumper? 5 seconds. Let's roll it. As Shai, when he puts his back to you, is so dangerous because of his speed and his footwork. The middle is a little clogged here because of Covington. So Shai could definitely spin, kind of half spin around back to this side, or he could stop for a jumper. But he sees that Batum is on his right shoulder here, which means that he spins back to the left and creates separation because Batum has to turn his hips. And turning his hips doesn't really give up much separation, but it allows Shai to get into the middle of the paint, where even if he doesn't have a clear, window of space, he uses his off arm to discard Batum, which he does so often, to get that little boost of momentum and finish that scoop high off the glass. Just all of these creative, plays and finishes and stuff are just what makes Shai so unguardable. Like, there's no consistency really within his driving game, and that is for the best. We have one more play. Let's finish it strong, as we have Shai running this high pick and roll with Zubac playing high and the defender going around and guarding him tightly. So is Shai going to burn Zubac all the way to the rim and finish? Is he going to find a pass to the corner on a drive? Or is he going to find a pass to the roller right here? For the last time, you got 5 seconds. Let's roll it. As the most common way that Shai is really creating are these little pocket passes, where he's so good at exploiting these tiny windows. And this is a pretty small window with Zubac's arms lurking, and Shai could probably beat Zubac to the rim here. But he's becoming more and more willing to try and fit passes into this window and create advantage ops for his teammates. And Kenrich Williams, with 4-on-3, is able to get all the way to the rim against late help. So how'd you do? Did you get a perfect score? I imagine this one could have been difficult if you weren't, watching these games or have seen these highlights. But I hope it helped you understand and have some fun with Shai's just unbelievably versatile and difficult to stop on-ball creation. And if you want more of these kind of stuff, please let me know.